All right, so we're going to start doing some of our design work here in Inventor. The first thing we're going to design, if we go back to our, here it is, our drawn, hand-drawn layout, we're going to start with the base because that's where everything attaches to. So we're going to design the base first, and that's wood, remember. So before we get started with anything, we always want to make a new project. So in case you forgot how, click on Projects in the upper left corner. And you say New, Single User Project, call it Speaker, or Speaker Project, your call. Place it on your U drive. So this PC, find your U drive. You should have an IED folder. Mine's IED 2019-20. Say New Folder, Speaker. And make sure you select that, say OK. And so it should be the U drive IED Speaker Project. Say Finish. Done. And you now have the speaker project. Okay, so let's open a new project. Everything's going to be in inches for this project, so you don't need to go through, sorry, a new part. You don't need to do a part in millimeters, just a new part. All right, so it's taking a little while to load. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is a sketch of the overall part. Remember that all of our pieces are outside diameter or outside dimensions, 4.5 by 4.5. So I can just make a 4x4, 4.5 by 4.5 box initially. And so we can also think through what tool we're actually going to use to manufacture this piece. So this piece is going to be made in the laser. When it's sent to the laser, it doesn't matter if everything's on the same sketch or not. It's only when we send something to the CNC carbine machine that all of the lines have to be in the same sketch. So we can do as many different sketches as we want here. Doesn't much matter. All right, so I'm just going to finish this. Zoom out a little bit. Extrude. The thickness is 0.2 inches. Say OK, and I'm going to change the material type to wood. It's birch plywood. All right, so that's kind of how it would look. All right, so now I need to start cutting the fingers into the outside edges, and this is where the orientation of the board matters. So I'm going to pretend that the way I see it here is the way I'm going to design it. So I'm kind of looking down onto my board. And so it's important to remember that, so this face that I'm looking at, which is the front currently, is the inside face of my piece here. All right. It doesn't make that big of a difference on the bottom since we're not doing a design on the bottom. But when you're doing a design, for example, on any of the sides, you need to keep in mind what side's on the inside and the outside, because it all kind of makes a difference when you want the design to be on the outside, but you got to keep your finger joints oriented correctly. All right, more about that when we actually do a side design. All right, so let's do a sketch on this face. And since I'm designing it the exact same way I see here, so something to think about is that the sides are all 4.5 inches, but the fingers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and kind of 7 here. I'll talk about that again when I do one of the sides. But there's essentially 7 fingers on all sides. All right, so 4.5 divided by 7. Each finger is a 1/2 inch thick. All right, I'm trying to make the numbers easy for us to work with. All right, so if I'm designing the top part of this plywood with the fingers and everything, the outside here doesn't get cut, but then I go in, and the thickness, the depth of this finger is 0.2 inches, and the width over is 0.5. All right, so when I come back here, the easiest way to do this is just to draw some random rectangles, not completely random. I'll make them about 0.5 and about 0.2. But so think, here's one of my fingers. Here's a cutout finger. Here's the top of a finger. I'm going to do another cutout finger. And it can help to actually kind of line stuff up. So if it's in line, it kind of snaps to that line. That can help me out. So if I just kind of snap to all these lines. And so let's count here. I have up finger, down. So that's 2, up 3, down 4, up 5, down 6, up 7. So I think I actually did too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I've done too much here with this last one. So I'm going to delete that. Not sure if I've done this quite the way I wanted to. So now let's start dimensioning it. Let's so from this side to this last one here should not be that big. It should only be 0.5. This thing here should only be 0.5. I think I need a few more fingers here. So let's put one more in. All right, the dimension between here and here is 0.5. This should be 0.5. From here to here should be 0.5. This is 0.5. From here to here is 0.5. This is 0.5. And then this last dimension should be exactly 0.5. Excellent. But it's going to be over constrained there, so I don't do that. So now I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Was that right? Let's double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. 1, 2. Now I see why. So this is not exactly designed correctly. This should have a whole extra set of fingers essentially here. Either way, it's just for model purposes. All right. So with that all being said, I've got the width of my finger set correctly. Now I need to do the depth. So from this edge down to here, it's the top. It should be 0.2. I was using the snaps. All of them should have lowered, and I think they did. So let me just double check that. It's probably going to give me an 0.2. Hit escape because otherwise it's going to give me an over constraint. Let's try this again. This one did not. It doesn't seem. So I need to do 0.2 there, and then check this one. Okay, we're good. All right, so that's the top. So let's do the left side. The left side, all the thicknesses of the fingers are 0.25. So let's do that. So you see how I overshoot my rectangles. So when I cut down into it, it's going to just cut outside. So it's all good that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of these boxes. 2, and again, if I'm kind of lining everything up, it's going to just allow me to use less dimensioning here, make my life easier. All right, so from here to here should be 0.5. Thickness here is 0.5. Everything is going to be 0.5. Oops, I forgot to dimension this being 0.5. This should be 0.5. Here's 0.5. And then the last one here, this width here is 0.5. All right, the depth of the fingers from that edge to here, because it's HDPE, is 0.25. Okay, now I need to do the bottom part here. So going here, the bottom part matches up with the acrylic, so that's 0.125 depth fingers. All right, so from, let's draw here, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's dimension everything. So from here to here, 2.5, 0.5, 0.5. So everything, all the width of my fingers is all 0.5. And then I should just double check it at 0.5. Don't actually try to place that one because that's going to cause an issue, an over constraint issue. And now dimension from this edge up to one of these, it should be 0.125. And when I hit enter here, all of them will move to the same depth. Yep, they all do. I can confirm that by just checking one. Yep, 0.125, hit escape, don't do that. All right, finally the right side. So the right side meets up with expanded PVC, which again is 0.125. All right, so again, I can just draw in 4 of these rectangles. Oops. And if I'm kind of careful about where I put, how I line them up, it will make my life easier. So from here to here, 0.5. This one here is 0.5. So all of these, again, width of all the fingers is 0.5. Makes your life easier. All right, and now the depth of the fingers being 0.125 for the expanded PVC. Oh, looks like I didn't quite line them all up, so I'm going to have to do a few more. 0.125. All right, so that all worked. Now if I hit finish sketch, that's all done. Extrude. So you need to be careful to make sure you select all the right stuff here. Oops. Just make sure. So something to be careful of, make sure it doesn't do this where you see the outside edge only. So make sure you somehow select the entire rectangle to extrude. So you do need to be careful in selecting everything to extrude as you go around. All right, let's kind of look out. So instead of extruding out, you want to extrude down. That will cut away all the materials. Say, okay. Oops, something didn't work here. So let's go back. Edit feature. Oh, so I wasn't careful up here in selecting that whole rectangle. So that's exactly what I was talking about. Now I say, okay, now everything's good. So that is the bottom of my my speaker box fully designed right now. So let's go ahead and save it. Make sure when you save it, you say name it something appropriate. So something descriptive enough. So speaker box bottom, and I'll even say wood to help me know what the material is. All right, so that's how you design that. Now make a multi-view drawing with dimensioning, and you should be done with this part.